Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and I am here with another installment to our Simplicity series. That's what I like to call it. Let's get back to the basics. To make cards, yes, there's a lot of great tools. We all have them, but in reality, you just need a piece of paper, pair of scissors, your imagination, and some type of adhesive, and you can still make beautiful cards. So one of the things, I kind of challenged myself with this now. So we all love watching many other YouTubers, and they come up with some great ideas and different ways that you can do this. One of the recent videos that Jennifer McGuire did, she made these open face cards where, you know, they had holes in them in the front. And I'm like, you know, let's see if I can do that. So you might hear, she inspires me when it comes to these concepts that she comes up with, you know, with folding the cards. And I know they've been around forever. But to see, you know, do you need, you know, all the fancy tools and everything else? So she kind of, you know, made me challenge myself in this series. To prove that, yes, we can make those beautiful cards and we don't have to have, you know, all of the fancy tools. So, okay, enough of jibber jabber and where I came up with this idea. So what I did was I grabbed one of my paper pads from my stash. It's a 6x6 paper pad. I do know that I got it from my local Michael's. They have a great Halloween section every year. So I pulled this out. I don't know if it's still available. If it is, I'll link it down below. If not, go to your current Michael's. I'm sure they've got everything out. So I grabbed one of the sheets that had the little squares, cutouts that you can use. And I just went to town and basically cut them out. Now, what I'm going to do with those is just, after I've cut them out, I'm just going to use my liquid adhesive. This is my art glitter glue. And I'm going to put them onto some solid cardstock. Now this solid cardstock is the Craft, also by Recollections, through Michael's. And then I'm also going to be using the black. So I want to frame them. I just like to, you know, if I'm just using paper to create a card or a card set, I really do just, I love to layer it and create those mats. And it's really cool when you keep on, you know, creating those mats and creating those mats. And for something like this, I don't measure. Sorry. I just don't. I take them, I glue them onto the cardstock, and then I will just cut around the focal image that I've glued down onto the paper. So this video is going to show all the steps. I didn't want to edit anything out. It is sped up just a little bit, but I didn't want to edit out any of the steps that I took. So here you can see I have some of them put on black, which is also by Recollections, and then, as I said, the others are on Craft. And you can see I'm just cutting down along each of them. If I'm even, great. Okay? If I'm not, it's okay too. You know, again, these are handmade cards. You know, sometimes people, when they look perfect and when they are perfect, people can say, oh yeah, right, you bought that somewhere. So let's prove to them that it's a handmade card. Again, by doing that, it makes it even more unique. So keep that in mind. Don't stress over, okay, this doesn't look perfect. This isn't even. As my mantra and my saying, let it go. We sing it and we scream it. Just let that go and just continue to build. So for each one of these, you can see I'm continuing to just cut around them. And there's some that I didn't choose. There may be, I think I pulled some of those in just to fill it out. But I really did have fun creating this. Now, I'm not sure if it's exactly how she how Jennifer built hers, but I kind of tried to remember all the things that she said. So, but again, you know, that makes it. So, okay, so let's get back to the card here. That's more important. So my fingers are going to be twitching a lot and everything else. So what I did, and again, I'm actually thinking through this process. So I had that piece of paper down. Now that piece was cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm using that as my template. I wanted a piece of black cardstock, a strip, a 1/2 inch strip, because I only have basically half of my card base that you'll see. All right, so I'm going to use some, I forget, I wasn't looking there. Yeah, something to hold that down, to stay in place so that it wouldn't keep shifting and everything else. Now what I'm doing is I'm layering the pieces that I've cut out, and I'm now placing them on top of that 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch cardstock. Again, that's my template. Now, it probably would have been smarter to use, you know, like repositional tape as you're doing this. Yes, I would highly suggest it. But if you don't have it, it just means they're going to wiggle a little bit, which they do for me, which I'm okay with. Once I knew my one block was going to be up on that black strip, I immediately glued it down. Just saying. Now, what you can also do too is you can also, that black strip that's extending across the top, you could use Scotch tape and tape that down, and then that would at least hold that together, and then pray that, you know, and then tape your card stock base, you know, your template, your guide. You could tape that down as well. I'm even going to pull in some foam tape, double-sided foam tape. Use whatever you have just to give this, even on this concept, we can give it some dimension and some depth, which I think is pretty cool. Yep, lots of finger tapping going on here because, again, I'm kind of winging this. I'm kind of just saying, you know what, let's just turn the camera on, let's see what we get. So that's why we did have to speed it up as well. But again, you're just placing them. Have some above, have some below. And when you see, like I only put glue in that top corner because I know, okay, let's get this secured down. So I probably did make this worse. More difficult than what you have to do. But as I'm thinking and I'm watching myself and laughing at myself, honestly, people, you can see that there are ways. You know, pull out the Scotch tape. You really don't need repositional tape. Tape down your template. I should have taped down the strip that's going across. And then as I'm doing this, I'm thinking, okay, well now how can I hide? So now I have that black strip. So again, you think of all of the different things that are going on. So I do make that black strip work for me once you open the card. But I did want to have some pretty gaping openings in the card. Now by layering my images too, that just adds to the strength of the card as well. Now this Halloween cardstock, it's pretty thick to begin with. It's a nice weight. It's not a paper pad. It is a nice thick cardstock. But just adding those mats to it, I'm sitting here playing with the card and as I'm doing this, it's got some great strength. So it will stand up when whoever your recipient is for it. It's not like it's going to curl itself. It's got some good structure to it, which I was very pleased with and surprised at the same time. The beauty of it too is with the paper pad, you can also use, of course, some of the paper designs that are in there. You don't have to use all of the different images that I used. You could have cut different sizes of the designs that they have. So you're going to see, like I pulled out the cobweb, the mirrored cobweb. cobweb piece, and I've cut that down. So for that one, I don't necessarily want that matted, but I do want to have the craft on the back. Reason being is because it's not double-sided paper, but it's white on the back. All of my other pieces were either matted in craft or black cardstock. So if I flip that up and I saw this stark white block in the back, it would have freaked me out. So you can see now that's what our back looks like. Again, it's got a good structure to it. Some of the ones that I cut out and matted, there's that one there, I didn't use, but that's okay. We will be using that. So just adding the cobweb to the back of that is pretty cool. There's also another reason why I did that as well. We don't have a sentiment. I mean, we've got lots of sentiments on the front. We've got poison, we've got rest in peace, we've got toxic, we've got all of the little bottles. So I would assume someone would know that this is a Halloween card. Unless you're just sending a card to say, hey, poison. I don't know. You never know. So I took a standard A2 size card base, and off of the front, I cut off 5 inches. So I had a 1/2 inch flap coming over to the front. That's where my black strip of cardstock is going to sit. So I'm going to hide that white. I'm going to place the framed sentiment that I didn't use in behind that web cardstock that I set in there. I'm just going to trim this one down just a hair. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my liquid adhesive to that. And then I'm going to bring the bottom up to close the card. Now what that did was, it really does work when she does that. Now I've got my sentiment on the inside. I'm okay that it's a little crooked. It's still, when the card is closed, it's being hidden by the web cardstock. Now I'm going to cut another strip for this that's a 1/2 inch, because again, when I open my card, that white strip going across the craft cardstock is really wigging me out. It's very white, you know. Now, you could probably, what would be awesome, use a black card base. Just saying. Now, again, I should have thought of that. But maybe you don't have that. Again, you can use white. Just use your papers to cover it up. And that's what I chose to do here. So by adding that strip across the top, I've got it continuing on the inside. So this, guys, was a lot of fun. Really a lot of fun. I think you're going to see this again, using some double images or different images. Again, these were squares and rectangles, easy to cut. Don't worry if you don't cut a straight line, even if you had scissors. It's okay, all right? But just have fun with it. Give it a try. As I said, Jennifer, she was the one that inspired me for that. You know, can we do this just with paper, adhesive, and scissors? So I hope you'll give this a try. I do hope that you enjoy it. I'm going to try to find the paper pad that I used. If I do, I'll link it down below. I'll link down the few products that I do use in this as well. If you have any questions or comments, or hey, even any ideas when it comes to the Simplicity series, please leave them down in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I want to thank you so much for stopping by today and taking a little bit of time out of your day to watch the video. If you haven't already, I'd love for you to subscribe. Make sure you ring the bell, because you never know what's coming out next. Excuse me. At least this time you'll know. I hope everyone's having a great day. But always remember what's most important to me. Always be creative.